family. Welcome back to Dark Woke, your direct link to all things politics, comedy, and culture. I am your host, Janaya Future Khan, champ yapper and frequent nuisance in the activist and comedy worlds. Let's get dialed in. Just before we jump, Dark Woke is a self-funded, self-produced show. We're on Patreon/Dark Woke. I am so grateful for all the support and for you just taking the time to listen. Oh my God, I'm still stumbling over that intro. Anyway, listen. Do you remember how over the past several weeks, right, we've seen the planes crashing out of the sky, massive federal firings, federal budget freezes, attacks on DEI. The oligarchy has stepped fully out of the shadows, right? Got Bezos, Zuckerberg, Thiel, Musk, and particularly Musk, right? Donald Trump, Andreessen, all of these mega billionaires, right? Now, we know what the oligarchy's ultimate game is. Squeeze everything that they can out of the American people, right? And just run away, run off on their golden parachutes. And the fact in the matter is, or we discussed this before, the bigger the whale, the bigger the mouth. They get to a point where they've accumulated so much wealth, hundreds of billions of dollars, on their race to be a trillionaire. The only way for you to increase your wealth at scale, right, for the level that they want and need, you have to control the government. You have to remove any kind of regulation, and you have to rely on massive federal contracts. So we've got tons of episodes out behind us about that, but there's been an integral piece that's been missing. And there's little glimmers of it in different areas across the internet, but I have scoured all of the favorite stops I have. We got NPR, ProPublica, the Washington Post, the Washington Times, the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the New Yorker, NY Mag, right? It's just the list, the New York Post, everything, just the BBC, the Guardian, it all, Fox. I got to stop because I'm going to go through this thing where I just start naming all the pieces that we don't need. Slate, Mother Jones. Okay, stop it. Janae, stop it. The Daily Beast. Okay. And all the while, there are things in my head like, is Lady Gaga a pre-recession indicator? She might be, but she also signifies a homosexual revival. And may the meat dress of 2025 be the skins of fascists. Okay. There is a single reason for why the timeline has been what it is, because that is the piece, right? I've been a little bit flummoxed. Yes, there is a shock and awe campaign. Yes, that is part of the fascist playbook. The whole thing is to overwhelm you. But there's been a massive misdirect and redirect, and there is always a key reason for why that is. Thankfully, all the journalists, all the pundits and the commentators, folks like Elizabeth Warren, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Bernie Sanders, these are Democratic representatives, right? They have made it abundantly clear that everything that is happening to us has to do with the 2017 billionaire tax cut that expires this year. That is why everything that is happening right now is happening the way it is. I am so fucking disgusted, okay? I'll break it down. I'll break it down exactly as it is in a moment, right? I'm going to hit you with some quick hits. This one got me. Biden, so I was like, I'm just living my life in the politics world. Here comes a media hit. Joe Biden has signed to CAA, the number one talent agency in America. We're on the same team now. No, listen, I can't wait for Biden to reprise his role as Elphaba's broom in the second installment of Wicked for Good. Can't wait. Honestly, though, I thought about it for a second. He'd make a hilarious Laertes in when Nolan does the Odyssey, which is not to be confused with Laertes in Shakespeare's Hamlet. I am a nerd. I'm a nerd. We're going to keep it moving. I'm a nerd. Anyway, This is me always trying to find something that is good out there in the world. There's tons of it all the time, but this one got my attention. I was like, I saw this thing in the Guardian. It was like daily omega-3 dose extends lifespan. So I'm like, awesome. Get into the Guardian, read it, right? And it says a daily dose of omega-3s can slow down the aging process, right? So I was like, yeah, that's awesome. So they did the study. If you take it every day for 3 years, right? Every day for 3 years, just the commitment, the money, right? I just want you to think about that. I'm thinking, okay, great. This is going to be great. If you take it every day for 3 years, you will be biologically 3 months younger than someone who didn't. That's it. That's it. 3 months younger. But here's I kept reading because I'm like, no. There's got to be something good here. And this is, if you combine taking omega-3s every day for 3 years with vitamin D and exercise, you will be a whopping 4 months younger than somebody who does none of those things over the course of 3 years. I am sorry, but that is not enough of a return on the investment. No, do everything. Do everything. I'm looking for the thing that's going to get the microplastics out of our brains. That's all. That's all. Antioxidants movement, that's all. So I was like, all right, let me move on to Scientific American, right? What do they got? Let's get some really left field, feel good news. This article caught my attention. They're a nearby habitable zone exoplanet, right? So that we found a planet, it's nearby enough, considered habitable. And they've now, thanks to science, that's a reference to Enchanted. I maybe need to drink a little caffeine before I record, like in the night. But anyway, now back to the point. So there's this planet, they got all the data from it, and they're like, oh, wait, you know what? This planet that is within the zone of habitability, it may be a world of fire and ice. And I was like, okay, so you mean like this planet, the planet that we're already living on, that has at different times in history been that, but thanks to a wonderful window in time, it was not that. And now we're making it that again. Okay, great. But does that one have Elon Musk on it? Because I will go. So other articles that I liked, right? It was like on Scientific American. There's one on bonobos, which I'm a big fan of them. I like their egalitarian societies. So this is the thing. There is now empirical data that bonobos can tell when a human does not know something, right? So if we're pretending to know something or we're unaware of something, bonobos know. So they know when a human doesn't know something, which means that bonobos already know more about the Trump-Musk administration than the people who voted for them. That is the key takeaway. But I finally found the good news that I was looking for. An asteroid may hit Earth in 2032. We all have something to look forward to now besides, tuberculosis's raging comeback and the latest drop of a highly pathogenic bird flu. Yay! No, honestly, y'all, we just got to strengthen our hip flexors, drink some water, watch anime, and have some fruits and vegetables. That's all. We'll be fine. I am so clear that we are going to beat these losers because every single day, like, yes, they're squeezing everything. Yes, they have the cards, but the level of incompetency, right? Like, I know that there's this desire to be like, there's a master plan here. There is a master plan and they're seeing it through. Yes, their ultimate goal is to squeeze everything they can and to get money, but they're incompetent. They're so unbelievably incompetent. So I want to get you fired up for a moment. This has nothing to do with anything, but it is my favorite soundbite. There's a black woman in Pakistan that is terrorizing everybody there and the internet. It doesn't matter. Her story, all of it is just one of the things on the internet. But this line in particular is so funny to me that I have to share it with you. It's literally 1 second long. This is our line. This is our line. Here we go.
Private. I'm Muslim and it's against my religion to tell y'all my business.
I'm Muslim. It's private. I'm Muslim and it is against my religion to tell y'all my business. If that's not a banger line, if that's not a banger of a line, I don't know what it is. Now, here's something else that'll get us a little fired up. I have been, just like you, I am so angry, frustrated, and grossed out by the Democrats. That being said, I've done a lot more due diligence on understanding who the champions are going to be in the Democratic Party, who the fighters are, right? But also, it is an interesting thing when all of these services, programs, whatever, ran like clockwork. And of course, the issue is that there simply has never been enough. And that electoral justice is one pillar of what we need to fight for in this country. There is something to be said, and I've been reflecting on some of the programs, initiatives, and campaigns that we've taken for granted, right? And it's making me look at coalition building in the 21st century very differently. I want to play a video of Jasmine Crockett, that is a rep. She's a Democratic rep on CNN, right? She's responding to the 100 days and responding to Donald Trump asserting, this is what he said, competent white men must be in charge. And when I tell you that I look at that administration, I'm like, where are they? I don't mind if competent white men are in charge. I really don't. I just don't think they should be the only ones. But I do like when belligerent white men fight other belligerent white men. Like Doug Ford, Ontario's premier, so that's the equivalent of a governor here. Like a Doug Ford versus a Donald Trump. That is a fight I would fucking watch. I would watch that fight. There's nothing better than two belligerent white men fighting each other. Like truly one of like peak fighting, peak entertainment. But in the meantime, check this out. Because of course we've seen the attacks on DEI, and I want all of us to remember that these things are corny as hell. We like Black Lives Matter. Freudian slip. No, I have a lot to say on that movement one day. It was really beautiful in the time that it has. But no, Black History Month, DEI, Pride, all these things, celebrating women. These are things that are corny as hell, but came about for a reason and are worthy of our defense as we create a new force to advance those initiatives that have not turned into bread on the table and money in the bank. So let me get you fired up with a little Jasmine Crockett responding to Donald Trump saying that competent white men must be in charge.
I am tired of the white tears.
Hold on. I do want to say this. I am tired of 2013 language. Can we fucking let it go? I'm tired of the white tears. Oh, God. And then in 2016, what Van Jones said, the white backlash. Can we chill? Like, I get it. But we've done the whole white fragility, white privilege. Privilege is a great concept for a self-diagnostic. It is not a useful diagnostic for systems, systemic or structural inequity, and also for people's lives. Remember that privilege is about what you haven't. Privilege is not what you've gone through. It's about what you haven't had to go through. So anyway, I'm just tired of this, the whole white tears rhetoric. Nix that. Everything else she says is solid.
Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel away and why you can't make me doubt who I am is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me.
That right there, so key. That's something that as Black folks, think about it, you can attach that to poor folks. You can attach it to disabled folks, people of color. But as Black folks, you understand. So you have to come in with a certain degree of expertise that is cultivated and that is never really respected. But you come in 3 times as prepared for anything because we are the last people in and the first people out, right?
To Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived.
Sorry, that's actually a fire fucking line. Hell yes.
So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education.
I would change the mediocre white boys to the billionaire white men. I want these amendments matter for we need to be realistic about the political reality we are in right fucking now. Anyway, let me keep playing this.
This is why they are trying to literally say we won't fund the HBCUs because they know that if they've already gone after affirmative action and they're saying, you know what, don't allow them to come into, say, these PWIs, as we call them, don't allow them to come into these institutions. We know why they created the HBCUs in the first place. It was because they wouldn't allow us into the white institutions. And so now they're not allowing us in. And now they're saying, you know what, we're also going to defund the HBCUs. You know why? Because they don't want any more Kamala Harrises. They don't want any more Jasmine Crockett's. But I got news.
I'll take a Jasmine Crockett.
For them. I don't care what they do. We will fight to the end to make sure that we get our due. Because again, if you want to talk about the people that shouldn't be in this country, you probably need to look in the mirror. Because the last time I checked, the Native Americans who some of ICE have been rounding up, or the Puerto Ricans who are absolutely Americans. Listen, the only people that came and colonized this place are your ancestors, Trump.
Oh, okay. Well then. But honestly, super fire. And there isn't this annoying thing where, you know, I hate when they roll, like when there's such a blanket attack on people of color, on like black folks or whatever. We all sound like we should be on a slam poetry stage. And I want to be clear, like I think it's gangster as hell, but I hate that it makes us have to be like, okay, because this is what happened in history and this is what they were doing. This is what they did to us. And it's true. They are attacking the education, the parts of American history that actually set us up to be better people. We keep getting haunted by these original sins because there's always the same way that rich merchants, right, undercut the movement of enslaved black folks and indentured servant white folks. They stopped us from our strong, powerful, useful coalition, right? This is a new America. They saw that the merchant class, the baron class, right? The rich white people in this country, they saw that we were finding each other and that we were creating rebellions. We were educating each other. Indentured servant white people were teaching us black and enslaved black folks to read, and vice versa. There was education, there was culture. We started, you know, there was some murders, justifiable, truly, because the conditions were horrendous. And what did those rich, the equivalent of billionaires today, what did they do? When I was reading this in Zinn's The People's History, and a different version in The Dawn of Everything. I remember reading The People's History, and I'm like, wow, this is a page turner. And you know, they say they offered, you know, muskets and corn, and I was like, no fucking way that they sold us out for a fucking starch and the world's shittiest gun. You had to like jerk off for 20 fucking minutes before you could use it again. The musket was just as you could blow off your own hand as regularly as you could shoot somebody else. And they did. Those poor whites. The poor whites. Yeah, they sold us out for some starch. Rich people don't even eat starch like that. Like, I just can't. I'm so that actually is the origin of the word corny. The callback to one of my older jokes. Anyway, okay. So thank you to AOC for breaking this down. She's got like over an hour live that she recorded on IG. And I took some of the top lines because everything is working together on why things are rolling out and happening the way that they are. Okay. So AOC gets online and she starts talking about, why the federal freeze, why the budget cuts, right? So I want to take you to a little story. Do you remember how Elon Musk suddenly, everything that he's going after is for a reason. So why are plane crashes happening right now the way that they are, right? AOC, and I love her for being the whistleblower, right? Removing the veil for everything. She said that Elon Musk, put pressure on Donald Trump, right, to dismiss the FAA administrator. Why? Why would Elon Musk want this person to be fired, right? This person whose job it is to keep everybody safe in the air. Why would he want to fire the FAA administrator, the person in charge for regulating what is happening in the air? Because the administrator wanted to fine Elon Musk over safety violations at SpaceX. So Elon Musk took punitive action. I just can't. And that actually was the thing that led to that ham-fisted letter that was sent out to every federal employee saying, we want you to leave your job. Remember that the so-called buyout, right? That's why that happened. All because somebody was doing their fucking job, trying to keep us safe, and also trying to make Elon Musk's SpaceX from committing massive safety violations. As it stands, we don't have enough support in air traffic control. That is a direct fact. That was true prior to this administration. But why? Because of Republican budget cuts, right? But this is a very serious thing. This is life and death. And there are people out there whose job it is to keep us safe on planes. But Musk put an accelerant on an already troubled dynamic and now is working overtime to tamper with federal systems. So why are they doing this, right? They want to dismantle USAID. I just prefer saying USAID, but yeah, the USAID, right? They want to dismantle that. So we know why, on some level, why that is. And there's a whole South African tilt that we'll have to get into later this week, R.E. Elon Musk. But you might have noticed that lately he's been talking about something else too. There's dismantling the federal freeze, dismantling any FAA regulation, dismantling USAID, dismantling direct file. I thought that was weird. That's such a specific program. Why would you want to? That's a part of the federal treasury, because remember that's what they seized, and he's got all those weird little kids handling that. Okay. I'm sorry that I want to be so much smoother, but there was so much information to take in. But basically, direct file is a special program at the federal treasury that AOC helped lead the charge on with several others that fought against the very powerful lobby groups of TurboTax and H&R Block and those other entities like it that take your money every single year to file your own taxes with the government. Democrats wanted us to be able to do that for free. Now we get back to the timeline, right? Why is everything happening right fucking now? It is tax season. These multi-billionaires, right? And multi-millionaires. So the ones who are on track to become billionaires. Billionaires are on track to become trillionaires. These massive corporations too, not just the individuals, the corporations that they run. Amazon, Microsoft, all these places, right? Tesla, whatever the fuck. SpaceX, well, really SpaceX. They stand to lose a fuck ton of money if the spread for their tax breaks aren't covered. So in 2017, Trump put into law a new tax law that was skewed exorbitantly towards the rich. It was incredibly expensive. It failed to deliver on its promises to anyone below extremely wealthy, and it is going to expire this year. So the why everybody's running right now, all these members of the oligarchy who we saw standing behind Donald Trump during his acceptance in his inauguration, they've got to find $4 trillion to cover the spread to keep their tax breaks. Let me break this down. It's why Elon Musk is trying to raid the treasury. It's why the federal freeze is happening on the budget and why they're going to try to do it again, right? Because beyond white nationals, we know that's a huge part of it, but that's not really it. These guys will forego that in order to make fucking money. They actually exploit the ignorance and belligerence of poor white people, which is not to say that there's some innocent population, right? Because the majority of people are just fucking normal, right? If we're like, let's be honest, but they're exploiting that and exploiting people's fears, all to re-up one of the largest tax giveaways the largest tax giveaway in modern history, right? The 2017 Trump tax law allowed write-offs for yachts, private jets, right? Everything that you can imagine. It's in its sunset period. So right now, billionaires and millionaires and their corporations, they know that if Trump's tax law of 2017 is not reauthorized, right? They're fucked. They're not. This is the thing. They're not even fucked. They just want as much money as possible. That's the thing that will always confuse me. It's not like, oh, well, it's existential for us. It really isn't. Not only do they want to ensure the tax cuts that they got in 2017, that they continue, they want to expand those tax cuts out. There's only one thing that's getting in the way of that, right? One thing that's going to get away in the massive structural giveaways. Somebody's got to pay for it. Somebody's got to pay for the $4 trillion deficit that they create in their tax cuts, because we are not taxing billionaires or multi-millionaires. So who's going to pay for it? How are they going to pay for it, right? That they need $4 trillion. So typically, right, doesn't work this way, but in a healthy system, right? In a healthy system, right, the federal government uses the taxation, right? The taxes they take from us, the taxes they take from corporations, the taxes they take from the super wealthy, right? In a healthy system, they take those taxes, and the more you make, the more you get taxed. That's number one. And those taxes are then turned into federal infrastructure that keeps a country healthy. Healthcare, right? Access to healthcare, regardless of how much money you have in your pocket. Access to high quality education, no matter how much money you have in your pocket. So that goes from the public school system all the way up to post-secondary, right? Arts programs, fundings, grants, these kinds of things. Infrastructure, right? This is how healthy societies run. Of course, we know that that's not how America runs itself, but hypothetically, that is how it's supposed to run. And there are parts of it that still exist despite corporations, lobbies, super PACs, billionaires, all of these entities, and the entire fucking GOP and the loser establishment Democrats that kowtow to these systems and benefit from them immensely themselves. They undercut that in every way possible. But that is hypothetically how it's supposed to operate. So, how are you going to pay for the $4 trillion that you need to ensure that these fuckers can keep their little tax break, right? So they made up Doge, right? We already had a waste program, right? AOC talked about that in her live. So Doge is bullshit. This is one thing that I really loved. So AOC, right, said straight up, she's like, she met a lot of billionaires, she dealt with them, but Elon Musk in particular is incredibly not smart. That's what her exact quote was. Elon is one of the most morally vacant and least knowledgeable of these systems. He's very fucking stupid. So they want to cut everything. That's why they're doing this whole Doge shit. But the number one thing, because here's the thing, they've created new tax infrastructure. Basically, anybody who makes $130,000 or under is going to be taxed up the fucking straight from your asshole right up to your esophagus. They are going to take everything from the majority of people in this country. If you get paid, if you make $28,000 a year, you'll be taxed more relative to that amount you make than Elon Musk will, then Jeff Bezos will, then Amazon will, then Microsoft will, then Mark Zuckerberg will. Do you hear what the fuck I'm saying? I am so angry. I am so angry. And what is the number one program they're going to go after? Because look, you can tax everybody. You can tax everybody up the fucking wazoo. It still doesn't cover the $4 trillion spread. You're still more than $2 trillion. You still need more than $2 trillion. So what are they going to try to cut? What is the number one thing that they're going to try to eliminate? So this is from a memo that was a sensitive internal GOP document that was accidentally leaked. So this is verified by AOC. The number one fucking thing that they're going to cut is Medicaid. These are evil demons. These are fucking demons. They're going to cut Medicaid so that they could cover their spread, right? All of this is happening. They're going to cut our education. They're going to cut healthcare. They're going to cut your safety, right? The flights that endanger the lives of everyday people to cover their fucking tax breaks, to cover the tax breaks for the rich. They're Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, fucking Microsoft. That includes Gates. Doesn't matter how much they yap about how much they, how insane Trump is or whatever. They are all ready to cut your life short or sell you down the river just to cover the spread on their fucking tax breaks, despite the fact that they hoard more wealth collectively than like fucking 70% of the world's population. It is as disgusting as we thought it was, right? And look, there's a place where they could cut it. It's not like, oh, well, this is the major program that they could cut. No. There's one place that they're never going to have you look. They're blaming DEI. They're blaming waste, right? Saying their people are lazy. They're blaming migrants. There's one place that could cover this entire thing. Defense contractors. Thank you, AOC, for mentioning this. But we've also covered this in the show exhaustively, right? About how they need these federal contracts. But defense contractors price gouge in the most disgusting fucking ways. That's why the Pentagon's budget never makes sense, which Elon Musk has exploited to say that there's waste and incompetence. But these are the most incompetent motherfuckers on the planet, right? So defense contracts, Microsoft, Amazon, SpaceX, right? A lot of these AI initiatives, most of which should be illegal, right? She also talked about how the AI programs are being run without proper human oversight, and were actually used in places like Palestine. So they blew up the wrong fucking places half the time. That is why this is happening. I want to be very fucking clear that the reason why they are doing everything that they're doing the way that they are doing it, they seized hold of the Treasury. They're getting all of our private fucking financial information, right? Trying to eliminate any federal worker that would stand in their way so that government can run as intended. They will fuck up your life. They will fuck up your children's life. They will watch you die in plane crashes. They will poison us with shitty E. coli or salmonella-ridden food because they deregulate everything. So a small handful of the most evil scumbags on earth can get a wider golden parachute because they literally already have one. You know what? I'm going to find out where every one of their bunkers are. You could find that shit out. I mean, fuck, even RuPaul has a bunker. Although, I'm not going after him. I like him too much right now. I said right now. I'm like, I don't know who could get it at this point. Anybody could get it at this point. No, I'm not RuPaul. Not RuPaul. RuPaul is just prepared, okay? But he's not selling out like that. Anyway, this is why. These are the players. Tomorrow, tomorrow I'm going to talk more. I'm going to spend time talking about the game plan. But the number one thing we got to do is that identify the problem we have. So I want to just remind you, right? Defend welfare, defend Medicaid, defend migrants, defend trans folks. We're doing a lot of that. We're doing a lot of that. Just defend them more. Trans youth, certainly, but like, you know, add caveats for like the South in particular, right? Trans women, it's like defend trans women. We're fine. The other way, we're literally so fucking fine. The rest of us, ugh, just shut the fuck up. Anyway, sorry. That's my own personal gripe, right? Defend black folks. Defend women. Defend fucking children, like defend social welfare programs, defend safety nets, defend healthcare, defend public education. Everything that they're saying is garbage. Fight for it, right? Every single billionaire that I named is fighting for their own personal interests. Remember what I talked about, right? Pick 1 to 3 maximum, right, issues to really focus in on. My suggestion would be campaigns specific to migrant justice and infrastructure or anti-ICE activations. That would be the number one thing right now that I can recommend because of what is happening the way it is. But honestly, everything's on the table. Everything I just named is on the table. I don't want us to ever be caught up in what is popular ever fucking again. Reproductive justice has everything to do with our healthcare systems, but that to me, I'm not interested in debating about whether or not a fucking bathroom can be used. Give me a robust healthcare plan, and I promise you that trans people will be folded into that shit. Anyway, just remember this, right? I know we could be incredibly overwhelmed. Just remember this. When you don't know what to do what you know. You know a lot. You know so much, right? We've got so much time in this fight. And yeah, they're going to change the system irrevocably, but you know what? We ought to be changed irrevocably. What we're not going to do is make sure that they get away with doing every single thing that they want. No, this moment, this time, when a door closes, a window opens. I know that saying is so stupid sometimes, but like I said, there's something really profound and corny right now. Like, you know, it's the shit that we took for granted. Those parts of the social contract. And it was never enough to cover the need, right? Because they were always attacking us. But it is so blanket now that we have more opportunity for coalition building than we ever have before. But it means letting go of the things that no longer serve us. Cultural wins don't mean shit. I couldn't give a goddamn who gets an Oscar right now. Cynthia Erivo absolutely should get an Oscar. What I mean is I don't care about Oscars being rescinded from people who say shitty fucking things. Did they activate over those shitty things? We'll talk about that more in depth with a guest. Talking about the whole Carlos Sofia Gascon thing. Anyway, this is where we're at. We have got this. When you see this, take a moment to think about the fact that they did that federal budget freeze and freaked the fuck out because they actually don't know what they're doing. These are not hyper intelligent beings. These are fucking ketamine nasal spray, fucking flowing Adderall addicted losers who no longer have a thought going on in their fucking brain because every goddamn need is facilitated for. And two, they don't think. They don't have to think. They're just open mouths. That's all they are. They are open mouths. It's all about increasing wealth. We are some of the smartest, most impressive people I know. And I know because every time I see somebody on these streets or in the world, I'm always like, my God, how did you come to be so magnificent? Right? This is our fucking time. We don't lose to trash like this. Let me hit that question of the day right quick because I did it again. I yapped too fucking much. What is wrong with me? Whew. All right. Let's hit that question of the day.
This is Vicky. I'm calling in from the Catskill Mountains. You recently highlighted a conversation between Ezra Klein and Chris Hayes from Ezra's podcast where they were talking about the attention economy and how the Republicans have gotten so very good at it. And how we need to get better at it. And this, of course, also goes along with the fact that when we're working for social change, we really need to get our message out there. And, part of the battle is, I guess, winning hearts and minds and winning people over to the progressive ideas and values that we hold dear. On the flip side, we know the issues with virtue signaling, and you've also cautioned against trying to create too many calls to action on social media, especially ones that are not particularly well organized or robust, and caution against how too many of these could distract us and exhaust us. Mm-hmm. So my question to you is, given all of that, what do you think the role of social media should play in our organizing right now, censorship on the apps notwithstanding, and how can we use it to organize at this particular time in history? Thank you. Love your show. Look forward to your thoughts.
Well, first of all, Vicky, you're a fucking gangster. What a great summation of some key points and arguments over, the course of just like, different episodes and conversations. I'm just like, God, I said all that, but yeah. This moment is a great one to capture. So, all these news outlets, all these articles, right, that I referenced, and then AOC's live and how these stories work together. Social media, yes, they're going to suppress us. They're going to do this, that, and the other. But there's agency, right? They are mining the shit out of our data, but there's still agency in how we information share. And right now, the best role, because let me tell you something. George Jackson said this best, right? There's a time for mass mobilization. And I know that people are eager right now. And these like local activations are great, but they have to be connected to something larger. Chicago is a great case study for anti-ICE organizing and activations. They are doing an incredible fucking job. So like you will see in different cities, there's different strengths, and it's because they've built up infrastructure to support that. So one of the things that we can do here on this show, for example, is just like highlighting some of that work and pointing us to the right organizations and individuals, some of whom we'll also have on. But I think for us, it's right now, we've got to push ourselves. AOC kind of said this too in her live, not kind of, said it explicitly. We've got to level up. Like our attention spans are gone. We get very, very overwhelmed and very fatigued very easily because we've had 10 years of mass mobilization. So right now, this is not about critical mass. We use social media for critical connections. Pick your champions. Be your champion. Be the champion in your community, but also online. Pick your champions. Who are the people that you get your source from, your news from, your stories from, whatever you need? The people who get you fired up, the people who get you thinking, as opposed to just scrolling randomly and mindlessly, which is a fun. But that's for cats. We should be doing that for cat videos. I can't get enough of them. I really can't. They're incredible. Or learning about fucking jerboas, which I've gone down several rabbit holes now. I had no idea that there were so many of them. Okay, we use it for that, but in terms of how we get information and then how we share information, that's going to be key. I want to be mindful of time, but this is a really good point for a larger conversation as well. So I'll make sure to tee this up for tomorrow's episode. I'm making a note right now. SM, great. But I think that's that right now is about preserving that attention, finding those 1 to 3 things, and whatever campaigns or organizations that matter, and then becoming small issue area experts. Right, if something gets your attention, something that I've said, right, this tax bill, for example, let's find out more about it, or making these small infographics that actually travel really, really fast and really far and really well. That type of information sharing. And when we create an ecosystem where we're sharing this together, then we create a bit of a wave. Mass mobilization is going to come, but it must be tied to a larger set of demands in a pivotal moment. Critical connections mean community, right? Our online communities. and also what's going on in our brain, the critical connections in our brain. I cannot think of a greater time in the past 10 years for the coalition, the potential in coalition building right now. This was a great question. There's more to say on it. I'm going to circle back on tomorrow's episode because this one has just definitely been my longest. So I'm going to hit that music, but this is a great prompt and something that's very much on my mind right now. And I know it's on all of our minds. But again, we fucking got this. Doechii got fired from her job 5 years ago and was like, fuck it, I guess I should just go to the studio because that's what I ought to be doing anyway. Make your shit. Talk your shit. You're the fucking shit. All right, let's get that outro music going. Just want to say thank you so much for listening to Dark Woke. It means the world to me. The show really is a labor of love. New episodes drop every day of the week. We're available everywhere podcasts are. Dark Woke is self-funded. If you love the show, please feel free to support it as best you can. We're on Patreon/DarkWoke. Don't forget, I want to hear from you. Drop your voice note questions to darkwokejfk@gmail.com. You see how I did that? So smooth now. Shout out to KR, the JFK team, and shout out to you, the listeners that make it all possible. Love you!